Maya, it sounds very nice to people not to be able to pay their bonds, but would you recommend that they actually do this if they're still getting an income?
Absolutely not. This is a very, very dangerous move to do if you do not need it. And in fact, it is concerning to me because I've had people contacting me and showing me the messaging they're getting from the banks, which is, you qualify for a payment holiday. It may extend your term. Now, just to give you an idea, if you take a 3-month payment holiday on your home loan and you've got a 20-year home loan, that could extend your term by another 2 years. So it's not just another 3 months that you could be paying for. It could be up to 2 years because that interest gets capitalized. So suddenly, you may land up having another maybe 10, 15,000 Rand, depending on what your interest bill was, added to your home loan that you still now need to pay off over time. So this is really, if you seriously cannot afford your mortgage or your debt repayment at the end of the month because you have not earned a salary, this should not be taken as a debt relief because, you'd like to spend it on something else.
So what about the consequences and implications for those who don't have all of the money to pay for their bond repayment, but they can pay half of it? How does this have an impact on them?
That, again, you could approach the bank and say, look, I don't need a payment holiday, but I can pay 50% of the debt. I think one of the banks, FNB, has got quite an interesting way of dealing with it. They're saying that you actually take out a separate loan. So say, for example, you say, look, I can make half my payment, so the other half I'll actually put in as a new loan at the prime interest rate and pay that off separately. So it is about the way it's structured. But I would say before you enter into it, speak to the bank, understand the full consequences. And if you can pay part of it, that would definitely be a better decision.
And what about small businesses, Maya? Some of them, of course, are not going to be able to repay their business loans. There's some relief on that part as well. Should they be aware?
Yes, I think Standard Bank came out with an automatic payment holiday for small businesses. Again, don't take it unless you really need it. But I think obviously for a small business, this could be a lifeline if they have no income at all. So certainly, again, the same thing really applies, as I would say, to an individual. Only take it if you really, really need it. But don't look at this as a way just to get by. If you can make those debt repayments, rather do so. And then, of course, there's credit insurance, which I have spoken about quite extensively. But make sure that if you are employed, you've lost your income, speak to the bank about credit insurance before taking that debt holiday.
And can you actually apply for credit insurance now if you haven't had it, and when will that actually come into effect?
Unfortunately, you can't insure an event that's already happened. So COVID-19's happened. So unless you had that credit insurance in place prior to the lockdown, then no, you couldn't claim now. But we are seeing a huge interest in it, of course, because suddenly people realize what it was and what it can do for them. But certainly, if, say, for example, you're worried about retrenchment, although there is a 90-day waiting period, if you're worried that maybe the business at the end of the year won't make it, you could take it out now and still be covered as long as that retrenchment only happens 90 days after you took that credit insurance.
And just tell us about some of the other inquiries you're getting during this lockdown period that people need to be aware of when they make this decision.
Yeah, so I think people are asking me, especially around credit insurance. I've been getting a lot of questions, and a lot of them are from self-employed people. And sadly, and in fact, I would say most people that are struggling are business owners and self-employed people, because a lot of the insurances don't cover for that. So Credit Life is really an agreement between employer and if you are employed, not if you're self-employed. You can't claim UIF often if you're self-employed. So that's been one of the big ones that I think are the people that are really, really struggling are the self-employed. And they really need to be looking at perhaps some of the grants that are out there. I know certainly the Business Partners Fund, for example, is going to help some sole proprietors. So they need to look around for a little bit of additional funding.
All right. Thanks so much for the insight. Appreciate it. Host of Money Matters, Maya Fisher-French.